Albania. I had heard many things about Albania before seeing it for myself. The Greek people I spoke with said, "Be careful and keep an eye out on your stuff at all times. They will steal it if they get a chance." On the other hand, travelers who had been there said Albania is incredibly safe, although there were mentions of poverty, pollution issues, as well as poor roads for bicycling. Articles about violence in Albania led people to believe that the country is very unsafe and filled with guns. Albanians see themselves as something very different. For those who have been to Albania before, you may have your own experiences, but mine is this. There's undoubtedly poverty in Albania, as it is said to be one of the poorest, if not the poorest countries in Europe. The Albanians have experienced a rough history even in recent times, as they have transitioned from a communist regime to a free market in a democratic republic. This transition has resulted in isolation and disruption to economic growth. Albania joined NATO in 2009, and they are now waiting to become members of the EU, although they have been tasked with tackling some of their corruption issues before this is possible. Some hope that they will join the EU in 2020. Besides the initial stun from the beauty of the mountains, one of my first observations was that it was quite dirty in the city and surrounding areas. As we know, poverty many times goes hand in hand with pollution. Many farmers and homeowners burn their garbage, and other trash is thrown in massive piles a short walk out of the city. The infrastructure is not in place to deal with these issues, and there is little hope, it seems, for any change at this time. When I scolded the owner of the hostel about throwing a cigarette on the ground, he answered by saying, "When we do throw things in the garbage, a truck will come, pick it up, and dump it a mile away, so it blows right back at us. The garbage just circulates right now. We have no way with dealing with the trash, so until we do, there's little hope in dealing with this." Albanian people are kind, honest, and happy to see foreigners. They are more or less excited and proud that others would come to see their country. In terms of the topic of theft, if I were to drop my wallet while walking through the streets of Albania, it is my belief that someone would find it and do their best to return it to me immediately. The Albanians never close their doors and do not deal with much theft at all. It's a funny idea that the poorest country in Europe has less theft than most. Definitely much less than the US. In terms of safety and violence, I've never felt unsafe for a second since I've been in Albania. Although corruption is evident, I've not been able to see much of this at all. The cars you see roaming the streets show that wealth inequality is ever present, but that is all I've experienced so far in this area. It is my understanding from local sources that gun violence is very rare now that the punishment for having weapons is so severe. I was told that people caught with guns, loaded or not, face a minimum of 25 years in prison. Even large knives are forbidden to carry. Although Albania may have some improvements to make in corruption, politics, and providing an economic system that can keep its talent from looking elsewhere, they have amazing people. And their country is beautiful, from the beaches to the mountains, from the castles to the mosques and churches. I was fortunate enough to meet a great mix of travelers as well as local Albanians during my almost 3 weeks there. My experience would not have been the same without them. The Albanians I encountered are very well educated. The younger adults speak anywhere from 2 to 6 or 7 languages. Wow. I really enjoyed my time in Albania and look forward to returning someday.